Hello, everybody. Welcome to She Became Me. My name is Lentina Rogers, and I'm your host, and my co-host is.
Yolanda J. Brown.
And today, our guest is Dr. Jane Yip, and we will be talking about matters of the mind. So, Yolanda's going to give you guys a little information about Dr. Yip.
Yes, we are really excited about this month's
Yes.
theme of family connections. And Dr. Yip is the clinical director of Autism Parent Care, where she and her team specializes in pathology and neuroscience techniques. She is a recognized subject matter expert in brain mapping technology, and her specialty is in connecting knowledge of the brain via neuroscience technologies to treatment modalities for children and adults on the autism spectrum, such as ABA, and she'll tell us what that is later. Her company offers brain mapping services to individuals who need to understand their brain functions better. In particular, they serve children in the foster care system through working with DCS, Department of Child Services, and they strive to deliver scientifically researched knowledge in a humanistic setting and advance disabilities into ability. So Dr. Yip is absolutely amazing, and Tina and I both have experienced her wit, her sense of humor, her knowledge, and so you all are in for a treat today.
Yes, I currently work for Dr. Yip at the PM Care Center in Carmel, and I've been working with her for a little while now, and yeah, she's absolute joy, and she's great with empowering women. So, Dr. Yip, how's it going today?
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. So, what I would like to know, and maybe some of our audience would like to know, what are some of the struggles that families may have when they get this diagnosis with their child, maybe having autism or something similar to that, or even the levels of autism? Maybe you can explain too. A lot of people may not have a lot of knowledge about the different levels of autism.
Okay, so I'll start with the different levels.
Okay.
So you have low functioning, which is pretty easy to see.
Okay.
They may not be able to speak. They have trouble with basically everything,
Okay.
getting along with people.
Right.
They might have tantrums the whole day long,
Right.
and just basic things like eating, bathing, sleeping.
Yeah.
It's a huge challenge.
Right. Right.
Those are lower functioning.
Okay.
Lower functioning does not mean low IQ,
Okay.
not at all,
Right.
because the brain of people with autism are quite different, right?
Okay.
And then you have the mid-functioning. The mid-functioning can perhaps escape the radar,
Right.
They will sit there nicely, they can smile, but that may be the extent of it.
Right.
And they may, you feel like you have to drag information out of
Okay.
question, answer,
Right.
and unless you tell them what to do,
Right.
they are clueless. And those are the ones that fly under the radar, and
Right.
you think that they are getting it,
Right.
but they are not getting it.
And they don't get the service a lot of times.
They don't get the service,
Yeah.
and as they grow older, you are going to see the gap between their peers,
Oh, okay.
neurotypical peers, and
Right,
who
right.
they are becomes really clear.
Okay.
So a 15-year-old, would be functioning at a 7-year-old, for example.
Right.
So,
Okay.
and we do have quite a number of this group of students.
Okay.
In fact, sometimes by the time they get diagnosis, they might be 12, 13,
Yeah.
and 15 even,
Mm.
because they are the mid-functioning. They can still handle life, they can still talk,
Yeah.
but they are not flexible, not fluid.
Yeah.
So they're like stuck,
Yes.
and so that's the mid-functioning.
Okay.
The high functioning, actually brilliant. A lot of them have high IQ.
Mhm.
However, because the definition of autism is lack of social, emotional reciprocity back and forth.
Okay.
they are very stubborn, they're right, they see their point of view, and because they are smart, they get by with a lot of things. And they are also very strong,
Okay.
and strong mentally, emotionally, physically included, so
Okay.
people give in to them.
Yes.
The problem is this group of people, because they cannot see another person's point of view,
Oh, okay.
a relationship with them is very difficult. You don't see it until they get older, until you get into interpersonal struggles with them. But the danger that I want to warn society is that because they're smart, they can hack anything. And I have treated a number of them because they're able to hack bank accounts, drain it
Wow.
out on family members, and don't think there's anything wrong with them. Sometimes they go through the probation system, right?
Right,
Which probably Yolanda would be familiar with.
yeah,
And in a sense, I don't feel like it is fair to charge them
yeah.
because truly, they don't see it.
So
They
they, so
don't
they,
see it.
so
They
they
come
lack
to me.
empathy.
They lack empathy,
Okay.
they lack the ability to put themselves in other people's shoes, and they definitely, autism basically means you're stuck within yourself.
Right,
They cannot see another person as a separate individual, especially their family member, especially mom.
right, right.
And so they become controlling, relationship becomes
Okay.
quite difficult the older they get. And because they tend to, what do you call that, hit the brick wall with
Yeah.
everyone around them, they
Right.
experience failure, they also quite often have anxiety issues. So these are a group of brilliant savants, people who
Yeah.
live in the basement with their parents because
Yes.
they cannot adjust to society. All these are failure to adjust problems, whether it's a lower functioning to the higher functioning.
Okay.
I am passionate about helping all of them because all of them can have a good life. All of them can contribute to society, and all of them can learn to get along with
Okay.
family members and with the wider social world without getting into problems, right?
Okay.
But we need to teach them. And it is far easier to teach them when they are younger than when they are 16, 17, 18. And to change their mind at that age
Right.
is harder.
Right.
Not impossible, but harder.
Right.
And your family would be saved from a lot of heartache when you
Right.
start earlier. So quite often we'll say, you know what, it's just Jim, you'll get out of it, you'll grow out of it.
Right,
No, go get tested.
right,
There are things that people don't grow out of.
right, right. So I heard you mention, you said particularly mom. So what are some of the struggles that you think mom versus dad that may be huge, you know, with when the family get these diagnoses?
Yes, society tend to think that if something is wrong with the kid, it's mom's fault. It's all mom's fault. So one of the first things that happens when a kid get a diagnosis is mom feels the guilt.
Yeah,
Did I do something? Did I eat the wrong thing
Right,
when I was
okay.
pregnant, or, you know?
right,
Or maybe did I have a drink when I shouldn't have?
right,
Look, you know, in the first trimester, sometimes you don't even know you're pregnant. That's the problem.
exactly,
So they carry the guilt,
right,
and it doesn't help, you see. And also, not only do moms carry the guilt, they carry the burden of responsibility. Because moms are the one who have to organize for doctor's visits,
yeah,
talk to the school to insist on an IEP,
yeah,
discipline the kid when the kid is throwing a tantrum in the middle of the store, looking very embarrassed, apologize for the kid with grandpa, grandma, and the rest of the extended family.
right, right,
And also defend herself to everybody that calls her a bad parent, because
Right.
it's her fault again
right,
when the kid does not behave.
right,
So my message is, you know what, when a child is in trouble, it's not completely on the shoulder of the mother. Yes, the mother brought the child in this world. It
Right.
takes a village to raise a
Yes.
kid. It is also a village that comes in that says, what can we do? How can we be more compassionate? How how can we assist this poor mother?
Right, right.
Because she is dealing with daily struggle.
Yeah.
Sometimes getting out of the door at her house is hard.
Yeah.
It's a battle, right?
Yes.
And also, she has to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So that is the plight of the mom. I have a lot of empathy, compassion for mothers. And mothers are amazing.
Mhm.
Yes, that's good. That's excellent.
Yes.
So, because you bring up so many good points, and so I know that you have thoughts about gender biases, and certainly starting there, you know, when it comes to the role of a mother and women in our families, how we impact the family structure, how we impact community dynamics. Will you go ahead and speak on that?
Okay, yes, gender biases, absolutely. So gender biases in child raising. It is expected that the women take care of everything.
Yeah.
And it's superhuman if you have a special needs child.
Yeah.
They alone, you know? The bias is that it's a woman's responsibility. No. The dads have also equal responsibility. The fact that dad takes out the trash every week doesn't deserve, wow, good
Right.
job, you did.
Right.
And I would like to see equality in sharing the burden, supporting mom,
Right.
and not automatically assume that moms are the one that has to shoulder the responsibility. And another thing too, if mom is being criticized for her so-called failure to discipline the kid,
Mhm.
dad should come to the rescue.
Definitely.
And he should not allow his, the mother of his child to be, you know.
Just stress completely out.
Yeah.
Without that support, you know.
Yeah, and to be treated in a way of, you know, this way, right? It's
Right.
not the right way. So those are the gender biases. I would like to, instead, look at it in a positive light. My recommendation is dad also take on the equal responsibility and the equal burden for the child. Because when he does that, right,
Yes.
the outcome is far better. Because we are still human.
Yes.
I know women are very strong, which is why the duty of bringing a child physically in the world is given to us. And in fact, the research show that from the moment a child is conceived, the quality of life is determined by the mother, by what happens inside of her, in the womb.
Yeah.
She has to be taken care of. She cannot be stressed. That's going to affect the kid.
Mhm.
Plenty of, now we know.
Yeah.
We do know that for a long time, for hundreds of years, but it's not recognized until we go study it.
Yes.
Yes, we do have research data that shows that the mother's body has to be in healthy condition. Her mind has to be, you know, happy, relaxed,
Right.
and that kind of thing. So it's also very important to look after the mother.
Right.
When mama is happy, the whole family is
Oh,
happy.
yeah.
Look after moms, right?
Yes.
So because of that, mom need to be given more value and more assistance, more resources. And also, look, I think if you have a special needs child, somebody needs to give up something for the family.
Yes.
Quite most often it's mom, but her sacrifice is not recognized.
Yeah.
We need to recognize that she has to forego a career path and only work part-time, or she has to stay home.
Oh,
We need to
definitely.
recognize
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it's a partnership. It's a partnership between mom and dad. Not only is that, it is important that we consider that and strengthen that, it's also a partnership with the whole community, which is why I am always available to talk to the community about what autism is, what mental health challenges is. It's a social problem.
Right.
And when we understand that, when we are empathetic and provide provide assistance, and also is a governance problem. We need more funding. So if you want a progressive, a society that can progress, that can be wealthy, that is flourishing,
Mhm.
you need to take care of the young, the old, the sick, the disabled, and things
Right.
like that. It's a given, right?
Right.
So it's all our responsibility, not just mom. Currently, it's only on mom.
Mhm.
I don't think that's fair.
And so how do you speak and advise your clients who don't have, if it's not a two-parent home, or don't have the type of supports that you're referencing?
Yes, actually, you know what, 50% of students are already in single-parent family.
Mhm.
The statistics is even greater, Yolanda, I'm sure you have those statistics, right?
Mhm.
It is a challenge, so support group is very important. There are online support group because I tried to build parent support group, but after a while it petered out because just the time of coming and babysitting and things like that. Online support community is there. We need vibrant social worker. We need to pressure our representative to provide more case managers, social workers to the home because they need it.
Yes.
And also maybe other community things like churches.
Mhm.
And if you don't have your family, you have to build one. And
right.
we need to, for those of us who have the time and energy, it is a service to society to just volunteer your time to
Mhm.
assist and support, right?
Right.
So I think in short, the answer to your question is build your support community, you have to be proactive.
Mhm. Being proactive, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And so you have quite a story, a testimony as it relates to your own upbringing and culture. And so can you give the viewers just a snapshot
Yeah.
of that and what brought you to this place of even desiring to understand the brain? Like, I've never had anyone make me even want to understand the brain. But hearing it, I mean, cause I
It's not
just
sexy.
didn't know. Yeah, you know, you made it sexy. You know,
Yeah.
didn't really understand why knowing how my brain functions has influenced
Right.
everything, my behaviors, my attitudes. I had no idea, and especially didn't have a concept. It would have been helpful to know when I was raising my now 24-year-old, when I first became a mom, to
Right.
know, okay,
Yeah.
not only do I have my own stuff that I needed to understand, but it would help me understand different things, you know, that she experienced and
Yeah.
showed me
Yeah.
throughout. So it's a big question, but you go wherever you wanna go with it, because I know you have a lot, so.
With regards to the brain, yes, the good thing is we're able to see what's going on inside, the connection, the activity, where it is. The brain, I'm sure everybody knows that there's more that we can do with it.
Yeah.
It's just like you have a huge house, right?
Right.
You have a 10-room house, but you're only using one room.
Mhm.
And then you're packed in that room, you don't
That's
have
good.
any
Yeah.
more place to put stuff.
That's a good way to look at it.
And you actually have the other 9.
I told you.
And in fact, I have a challenge to you guys here. If
Uh-huh.
you have children, grandchildren,
Yes.
I can demonstrate we can increase IQ.
Okay.
There is a certain way of training. You need to know how the brain works.
Mhm.
We can increase IQ. We can increase test score by increasing the efficiency of processing in the brain. There are things that hold us back. We need to know what holds us back. We can measure it, and then after that, we can design treatment plan
Okay.
and improve on it. So my challenge is, if you have a few students and you have a teacher that is happy to volunteer
Mhm.
to create curriculum, we can demonstrate on increasing IQ. We
Okay.
need more smart people to help us out with the world. Actually, the world is full of problems. We need more
Yes.
smart people to address that. So your question about the brain, on what was the question again?
Just how did you get here to
Oh,
even
yeah.
make our culture, you know,
Okay.
want to understand the brain? and I know you're not just necessarily focused on, underserved communities.
Right.
You know, you are here for everyone, but I think it is particularly important that, people know that you do have an empathy for, communities that are underserved, that may not even understand how to reach out to a doctor yet.
Right.
Okay, so I can, yes, I'm happy to talk about my own personal story. As you can
Yes.
see, I'm Asian.
Mhm.
I was born in Malaysia. I happen to be born in a community that does not value women, especially the education of women, the higher education of women. And from a very young age, I have wanted to do a PhD and to keep on traveling and see the idea of getting married and having children, and does not appeal to me. I love to travel the world and
Mhm.
discover the world and meet all kinds of people. That's what I want to do. What's wrong with that? But society tend to put us in a
Right.
box, especially women. I have to fight to get out of there. In fact, my own family confiscated my passport and my travel,
Wow.
my travel document, my birth certificate, and everything that identifies who I am. So, and without identifying documents, I cannot apply for a new passport, because in order for me to get higher education, I have to leave Malaysia.
Right.
As you can see, I am native-born Chinese in Malaysia, and to get into a university spot at that time is actually next to impossible.
Mhm.
So the only option I have to get a college degree is to go abroad. But if I don't have my passport, I cannot go abroad.
Yeah.
I had to fight the views,
Yes.
traditional views of my family to
Right.
come abroad.
Mhm.
And if I were a male, that would never have happened.
Mhm.
And thereafter, I'm an immigrant here, so I've worked in many settings. I would say it's not easy as a female.
Yes,
You
definitely.
have to really prove yourself.
Yeah.
You have to work harder than most.
Yeah.
I don't have work-life balance, I only have work.
Mhm.
So, and then personally, to find a partner who
Yeah.
supports my career is virtually impossible. So, so therefore, I am where I am, and I have all the time in the world to work, so I may as well work harder. So
Mhm.
that's where I am. What I'm
Okay.
saying is, I'm sure my story is similar to many other women's, because to do something other than what is prescribed for you,
Mhm.
which is get married, have children, stay near your family, and
Right, and you might
and
not
stay
wanna
in
do
your,
that.
your place, right? But
Right.
we are human beings, not all of us want the same thing,
Mhm.
and I have no regret on my choice of life.
Mhm.
Certainly is not a conventional choice of life, but at the same time, I'm also very blessed to get to know Yolanda, Tina,
Mhm.
who are activists
Mhm.
and who share exactly the same view as
Yes.
I do,
Yes.
which is, our message is the same. Women are very important.
Yes.
The
Yes.
role of women cannot be replaced. We have research data to show that. The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Mhm.
Yes.
So the responsibility for nurturing physically, emotionally, and politically a child, that responsibility is entrusted to the women. So it is the right of women to demand more respect,
Right.
more funding, more understanding, and most of all, to be given the resources so that we can continue to raise the God-given new life that we
Yes.
are given. That is my message for women. And do not underestimate yourself,
That's
Right.
good.
Right.
and know that you are valuable, you are irreplaceable, and you are the salt of the earth.
Yes.
And we don't yes, we need mothers, we need women to look after the family front, I agree with that, but we need women in all professions to
Yes.
be able to hold up the field, the
Yes.
quality, the progress of the profession. Mine is the brain and neuroscience.
Yes.
We need women in law, in music,
Yes.
in,
Art,
in
everything.
art, in medicine.
That's good.
We need women to hit the glass ceiling and beyond.
Yes.
We need women like that, because unless women have voice, and also most of all, we need women in politics. Unless women have voice, we won't have a place.
Yes.
This is
That's-
ironic, you know?
Yes.
We have an important job, but we don't have a place right now
Yes.
Right.
in society anywhere in the world.
So we just continue to fight for that place.
Continue to fight.
And that, cause we like to do a lot of that, like the women empowerment workshops and different types of things. I mentioned before, under She Became Me, that we're gonna start small groups, where women will be able to empower, each other and support each other in various roles. So, definitely,
Yeah.
that was really good, Dr. Yip. I mean, you kinda laid it on the table and
You
really,
did.
look, and really, explain to people very well where they can relate to, some of the struggles that women are having in the families, with the family structure, and in the community, the struggles, just to be a woman, period.
It is, and even now, if I join some Asian social groups, I've been frowned upon because I don't come with a husband.
Yeah, but, yeah,
And
yeah, that happens.
those things, we need to change those viewpoints. Women
Yes.
do not need a partner. Each of us are complete within ourselves.
Yeah, we have enough value on our own, so that's some of the things that I see too with women. They tend to, feel like that, they gotta be married to have value. They have to be married to be worthy, and if you don't have the approval of a man to ask your hand in marriage, then that deems you're not a worthy woman. So, yeah, we gotta kind of move away from that, because that's why a lot of people in unhealthy marriages, continue to be abused mentally, physically, emotionally, because they don't wanna face that. They don't wanna face that label of people making them feel like you're not a valuable person, so, yeah.
I think, and, I think it's important to, before being married, I had to have a certain level of
Yeah.
independence
Mhm.
and self-esteem and self-concept that
Right.
only being married or not would
Right.
not, help that if I don't have some level of understanding how to love myself and build my own strength and capacity, because you have to have that to
Yes.
coexist with another person anyway.
Yeah, especially in a healthy way.
Yeah, in a healthy way, for
Yeah.
sure.
We are not to give up ourselves for another.
Yeah.
That is codependency.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And we are to have our own thoughts, own
Right.
wishes, interests, right?
Right, definitely.
Dignity,
Absolutely,
Yes.
to be
absolutely.
able to operate with another person.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So I do encourage young women, girls, to first work on themselves.
Absolutely,
And that would be definitely the key.
yes.
So,
That is wonderful.
what we wanna do now, is move to, a part of our show that we do, She-Mail. And She-Mail is where we have people, they write in, they'll send in an email, and they'll have questions. And so what we do is we give our perspective, of the questions that they ask, and, hopefully it'll be helpful. So, we try to plant healthy thoughts and ideas, based on what the questions are. So, let's see what we can pull out of here today. And we're gonna want your perspective too, Dr. Yip, on this question, whatever it is.
Yes, and we don't know what they are.
We don't know what they are. Okay. Oh, what's the best way to save money? Well, what is the best way to save money? You wanna start, Dr. Yip, answering that?
Okay, increase your income, reduce your expenses.
Yes.
Well, that's it.
That's very simple.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
I would say, definitely you gotta pay attention to your spending habits. Sometimes people just buy impulsively, and you got so many things you don't need, you don't have to have, you're just spending money because you feel like you got it. But, it's best to save when you can, and just buy pretty much what you need, and maybe a few wants here and there, but just don't be such an impulsive buyer, I would say.
Yeah, well, I'm terrible at saving, so I'm going to just start with that. I've always been terrible at saving, and so as I became, trying to get myself out of a bunch of terrible financial decisions and not saving, I had to put money in places where I couldn't touch it.
Okay.
So through banks, they offer a lot of CDs that you don't have to put a lot in. And there are some banks that offer accounts, even if it's like they call them Christmas savings
Yeah,
accounts,
yeah.
like the credit unions and things like that. I tend, especially when I was a single mom, and I bought, savings bonds.
Okay.
Things that I could put a little bit of money in that would, have future
Right.
impact. I always had to put it someplace where I couldn't touch it.
Okay. That's good.
That worked for me.
Look, know your strength and your weakness is what you need to do. That's great. That's what people gotta do.
Yes.
So, definitely I wanted to mention to our audience again to continue to send those questions in to She Became Me, 2020. Look, I always forgot what the email was. SheBecameMe2020@gmail.com. Keep those questions and concerns coming in, and we'd like to share them with everyone and then just give our perspective.
Yes.
So, thanks a lot, Dr. Gibb. You wanna give any information to our guests? You are the guest, I'm sorry. To our viewers, then how they can find you, if they have, children with autism, family members, or anyone that may need your services, where can they, find you at?
Okay, yes, we do testing for autism too, so, look up our website, autismparentcare.com. autismparentcare.com. In there, you would be able to get phone numbers, email. The email is easy, info@autismparentcare.com. So
Okay.
you'll be able to reach us. We are in Cabo, and we also offer special services, assistance to African American family who understandably do not want the stigma of the label. We would still be able to help you if you don't want the label and the diagnosis, and give you some tips on how to handle your child.
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
that was great, and thanks a lot, Dr. Gibb, for coming by and sharing all that great information with us.
Thank you.
And, until next time, guys, we'll see you.